So freaking Corvette, man. New ZR1 just got announced, and it has 1,064 horsepower.
65, whatever.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Incredible.
So
from the factory, you get over 1,000 horsepower with twin turbos and all the accoutrements.
Accoutrements.
How delicious is that?
Oh, dude!
I don't care who you is.
No, I order all the accoutrements. And yeah, you're right. They go down easy. They're delicious. The
Synapses.
I don't know if I'm much of an accoutrement guy though. You know, I'll get the bread and I'll buy water.
I mean, if
because
the
I don't want to fill
okay.
up on accoutrements, huh?
If the homeostasis is okay, I'll get the accoutrements.
Oh, you go to the fancy restaurants. Yeah, sir. I'll have. Will you have an order of fries for the table? Oh yes, and supersize them.
All the accoutrements. Can I have ranch, ketchup, and mustard?
No, sorry. We only one flavor packet per customer.
You son of a gun.
Well,
I'm taking my $7 and going.
$7. Oh, I didn't know you had $7, sir. Well, our finest table.
1,065 horsepower.
We usually get drive-through customers, not the walk-ins like you, the elite.
As my monocle falls from my face. What?
Ronald McMonocle. Dude, yeah, they have the Monopoly game there, so yeah, there's monocles implied.
Anywhere.
They're welcomed there, at least.
Thank you, Golden Arches.
But yeah, okay. Corvette ZR1 announced. It's like, we all knew it was coming, right? That it was going to be. They had ZR1s in the last few generations, or 3 generations, whatever.
The last one was 800 and some odd horsepower, which was respectable and all
was
that.
Was it 800 horsepower? It was 730 something.
I thought it was 846.
Was it really?
I think what I've researched has said that. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, they boosted it by
in the front engine one.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it was 600. I could be mistaken.
Well, you're a hot rod guy, so maybe there's a lot of high horsepower. High horsepower.
I read so many numbers.
But I mean, like from the dealer,
Yeah, I read so many numbers and stuff. I could be mistaken.
Because there's
I do remember something. It was a 460 horsepower increase, so maybe it was 600 horsepower.
Okay.
So maybe you're correct.
I think they're like 650. Is what that LT4. Engine, the supercharged LT4 engine was coming out with.
Which is just awesome horsepower in the first place.
All aluminum. Yeah. Lightweight, we put them in, at Pinky's, we put them in a Nova there that was like a 65 Nova, and it was rowdy. It was loud, and there was a smaller pulley on the charger, and there was a few other little bits going on that engine.
Another accoutrements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Filled with accoutrements. And man, it was beautiful.
And fun and loud and tasty.
Lightweight and gorgeous. And I'm like...
So, and they're talking having the carbon fiber cockpit style, partial carbon fiber and stuff like that. And one of the articles I read.
Yeah, you're a partial carbon fiber. Sorry for cursing. But here, got a friend showed up. Let me pause. Okay, so look, we got our friend all on his way. Got his keys. His happy customer on his way home. Thanks for pausing with us.
So I was saying carbon fiber. I was just listing things that I wanted to touch base on and we can expand on later. But the thing that's really grinding my gears.
I know some people's bases I'd like to touch. Am I right?
Hey. Hey-o, sorry for cursing.
Speaking of grinding their gears, am I right, guys?
The thing that is, I was reading last year was
he's stuttering because he's trying not to say another cue me up for another innuendo.
Oh, I want to cue you up. I was trying to think of more. If I'm reading my articles correctly, the Zio.
This is the Corvette episode, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a lot about Corvettes. And, oh my gosh, this brand new ZR1, though, was just... It's one of those things where it's unfathomable, that they can just sell this from a dealership, that you don't need to get any special license.
You should.
And I don't know if, should people have a special license for, anything above... Well, what do you think? What's the limit?
I have no idea.
It's like, but also, I guess in some ways you just go, no, freedom. Let's shoot the rockets towards the moon and let anybody do whatever they want.
And we're going to build a new LT7 versus the old LT6. And what is this? A C8 Z06 with a ZR1 that is a ZR1 option package that gives you the twin turbos and the and the body cladding and stuff, and it actually has functioning air dams through the hood that cool and keep ground force.
Yeah, so you lose your front trunk.
So,
which is fine, I guess.
You're not putting anything in there to go cruise around with.
I don't know if this is the one that you take to the golf course.
I mean, you do.
But I guess you can still put your golf bags in the back and the rear trunk. But
if you have this thing and you're going to the golf course, you have clubs at the course already.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Or you just buy more at the course.
Is that how golfing works? One day I'm going to golf.
Some people have 2 or 3 sets.
I love the idea of being able to, I guess, you show up and compete well with something that is way less expensive or whatever, kind of the underdog-y thing. And I don't know if Corvettes are underdogs anymore because, it was always like, oh, we're going to go up against 911s and Vipers and everything else, but do it at a far less of a price. They haven't announced the price yet for this thing, but I imagine it's going to be probably still in the $200,000 range.
I was thinking $250,000 at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
If not $350,000.
Yeah.
Come on, twin turbos and 1,000 horsepower. People will pay $500,000 for that. So.
Well, I was looking at things. I'm like going, what's the next thing that you could buy that's still over 1,000 horsepower? I have no idea. I'm not staying up on all those. I'm sure there's a few things, not a lot, is your point, right? Bang for your buck, at least, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, to get that kind of performance, because this thing's still going to be under 4,000 pounds. It's, what is it?
Carbon fiber, aluminum,
and composites.
I'm sure it's plastic and everything.
Yeah, they said composite, not fiberglass anymore. Yeah. So, like what... I guess more like truck bed what they're made out of, but Corvettes, I don't know.
I'm sure it's a polyester fiber infused style composite thing where, it's plastic and it has to have some kind of, not necessarily carbon fiber, but there's something in there that holds all that poly together. It can't just be plastic.
No.
Structurally, it would never be chill forever. And if that thing goes 218 miles an hour, you got to have some kind of body that's rigid enough.
There's an innuendo there, man.
To take a
pounding. Is that what you're going to say?
The down force.
Oh, okay. Well,
sugar needs some attention.
Thanks for coming up to my house today. It's been so lonely.
I'm not going inside. I'm staying outside. I'm not going inside with you.
No, come on into the basement.
Come on into the basement. Why does this smell like my dad's basement? 500. Okay, so the LT7 is where I was crying, okay?
The new engine is called the LT7.
Yeah, versus the LT6. And, my whole beef is, how come they can't come up with new ZRs? We're on the 82nd version of the ZR1. Why can't it be the ZR? Because it's not a cool name, right? You can't have the ZL1 Camaro be the ZL58 Camaro, the ZL87 Camaro, because there's been 87 renditions of the ZR.
Oh, the ZL87 is pretty awesome. No, I get what you mean, because they're too close, right? They're a 3-letter package.
Well, and the Silverado's just totally taken the ZR1 off-road package used to be
ZR2.
No, in the 90s, you used to get a ZR1 and it said ZR1. Underneath it, it said small off-road. James's truck that I just did is a ZR1 off-road.
It's not.
And it had like a 1-inch lift because it had bigger springs and it had bigger shocks and an option and a grill package.
Not a Z71?
Z71, excuse me. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Z71.
See, it's totally different.
I'm sorry. The ZR1 is
I know,
ZR2, yes.
Because if you go, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have
S10.
a Z76 or a Z66, and it's like, no, that's a 2-wheel drive truck. I'll have a ZR2 and then a ZR7
edition. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
sticker. And it's like, man, yeah, you're right. It gets bad.
Z71 off-road packages.
Yeah, and you're watching these YouTube channels and go, oh, I'll take the Corvette ZR1 with a Z51 package or whatever, but that was a different one because it's
an LT6 or it's an LT7. I mean, why can't you? Can't we have some
little steam coming up?
some better
Nomenclature.
Yeah, some other way to distinguish these things.
Because the old thing was, you go, oh, you got an L88 engine or whatever, a package on your old C3 Corvette, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's a big deal, and then it fetches, an extra $100,000 at Barrett Jackson, But
even then, it was like, is this a Crossfire? Is this a tune port?
Yeah.
There was different versions of them even back then.
Yeah, and I had a Z28 Camaro was my first car, and everybody and I think,
and I just got to see the tree it crashed into.
I go, an IROC. Yeah, no, it's a Z28. The IROC.
See, you almost said Z71 because there's so many things. Why does everything have to be a Z something? Come on, Chevy.
You're right, but they've been doing it forever, and it's impossible.
No, it's not impossible to grow and change and adapt to fucking...
No, not. Why start now? It's too late. Because, General Motors is run by engineers, and it's like, and it's not run by designers.
Actually, they're run by Korea now, so I don't know what...
Oh, okay. Daewoo. They had a Daewoo era for a bit. And also the Geo era, which I was happy about, live and well in.
I love a good Geo Metro, man. Come on.
We had a Geo Metro. It was amazing.
My cousin bought it.
Family had a couple of them.
A Storm?
Geostorm.
She bought one of those brand new off the lot.
Yeah.
Had it for a good 15, 20 years.
Dude, there's plenty of an episode to do talking about only Geo.
Only Geo.
Because they had the Toyota Corolla, which was the Prism.
Yeah.
They had the Geostorm, which was an Isuzu Impulse. And then they had the Geo Tracker, which was a Suzuki. And then the Metro, which was Suzuki, also the Swift. So it's like...
What a better product line to buy from.
Yeah. There was exactly. Well, it was like all the Japanese import small cars, but they put it under that Geo banner.
And it had the world in it. So
the little globe, with the Chevy symbol in the middle.
So if you realize, there's a reason.
Ooh, international, exciting, exotic. Yeah, but they had a lot more bright teal colors too. It was pretty fun.
They're not off grid at all, are they?
Off grid?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They're worldwide. Anyway.
Is that a rap thing?
That's prestige worldwide. No.
Okay. I don't know.
Anyway. LT6, LT7, bigger combustion chambers so it can have the twin turbo deliciousness onto it. Come on, dude. That Corvette's going to be so fucking cool. Sorry for cursing.
This engine's going to have... It's that Z06 package, which was already incredible.
Right.
Flat plane crank.
Right. So
it's like bringing the Ferrari tech to America. And
so it says it's not putting just a couple turbos on the Z06 5.5 liter. It did the two dual cam small blocks have a lot in common, such as their block design, displacement, exotic flat plane crankshaft. However, the LT7's twin turbos produce 20 pounds of boost and a host of unique parts. The list includes intake system that's painted edge blue to homage the ZR1 Blue Devil, both port and direct fuel injection, and stronger connecting rods.
And they got port and direct and fuel injection, which is awesome because of all the direct injection, cars that when they first get it, it starts getting all this carbon and everything and unburnt fuel that's in the intakes and everything and messes up your valves.
And doesn't it help with the turbo lag also?
Probably, but it has, but it also cleans out the intake, intake valves as it goes in because it has some fuel shooting onto the backside of the valves instead of intake valves instead of just into the chamber. So you'd had a lot of soot build up in there, and it would start messing with your valves after 100,000 miles.
It also gets new pistons, head castings, and that all makes for lower compression ratio of 9.8 to 1 versus the LT6's 12.5 to 1.
Yeah, because you want lower compression so you can fit more boost into your combustion chamber.
So that helps with the anti-lag system. So with all that is quite the difference between the LT6.
I mean, when they describe it, if you had that same description of just the tech descriptions and you said, this is the new Ferrari, then you go, okay, yeah, it's a $700,000 car. Easy. No problem.
Right.
Yeah. Or Ferrari doesn't sell anything with 1,000 horsepower for less than $3 million now, practically. Yeah, that's like 2.5 million or something like that for that SP3.
So you're paying for reputation, name, and stuff like that when it comes to Ferrari. You don't have that kind of a scenario with the Corvette. That's why it's only going to be 250, maybe 350,000.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you kind of go, man, GM is awesome.
Can you imagine sourcing that motor?
If you just had like sourcing the motor, like meaning like what, like as a crate engine or something?
Let's throw it in the El Camino or the 54.
Yeah, if we got a crate engine one, because they were talking. They had a YouTube Chevy had on their website had a description of just the engine on a stand, and I'm like going, ooh, you could fit that in.
Maybe get the drivetrain and the transaxle and mid-engine, the El Camino.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room for that engine in the bed of this El Camino. Yeah, we're sitting in front of my 72 El Camino. That's
next project in line.
Yeah, Grandpa's.
Well, actually, it's in the queue.
It's in the queue.
It's not the next one in line, but it's in the queue.
It's
after
definitely,
the Camaro.
Yeah, in the queue once the wallet comes
and actually
flooded.
We might have a 65 Mustang to do too.
Camaro.
And Ben says he wants a Land
65
Cruiser.
Mustang also?
And Ben says he wants the Land Cruiser done.
We're going to have to hire people, dude.
You need to show up and work.
I was working. I had to pop dents out of Subarus and Toyotas. And my truck's broken.
I'm scoring jobs for us at the house.
I'm sorry.
You need to show up.
All right. I'll show up.
Let's get the truck fixed and sold, and we'll get you something cool to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get you a RAV4 or a Crown Vic.
Or a Crown Vic. Or Grand Marquis. Grand Marquis sounds cool because it sounds like then I could call it the Biz Marquis,
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, baby, you got what I need. And I could just sing that all the time.
Just have a PA playing that the whole time.
Oh, my gosh. I know. And then playing Cop Car would be fun. And
then have it just playing quietly in the church parking lot on Sunday. Just quietly playing there. It's only people in a couple.
Well, it was our yacht. It was our yacht car episode that started me down that path of Craigslisting, looking for Crown Vics and Grand Marquis, anything on that Panther platform.
Right.
Say that 5 times fast.
That Panther platform.
The Lincoln Town car was also on there, and that's. And I don't know if I want anything with an air springs.
You don't,
but because I'll end up having to
because they rust out and fail.
Yeah, replace them anyway. So I think the sweet spot is Mercury Grand Marquis because they are not used as taxis or rental cars they may be as rental, but they're not used as cop cars and other things. So it's not.
I'm scared of rental cars still, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because of the way I treat them.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
You think you could rent the ZR1?
Oh, gosh.
Is somebody going to
one of those exotic rental places or something? Well, that goes back to my first point, too. Abandoning altogether the Mercury Grand Marquis conversation, because I think we'll have an episode on that again.
I think we should.
But
we'll talk about your
future plans for it.
Your Ford, and we'll talk about my Chevy.
There you go.
Because you'll have the Crown Vic Grand Marquis. I'm going to have a Caprice Impala.
Ooh, an Impala SS, and I'll get a Marauder. Best name for a car ever. Mercury Marauder.
Man.
An Impala SS.
Man.
Or a Caprice SS, maybe.
And we could do 90s versions and 80s versions also.
Okay.
You know, because they're both outstanding tanks. They're tanks of cars.
I do want to let's film a sabotage video and we'll jump them, you know, over downtown.
Days of Thunder, returning the rental cars.
Oh my gosh. The greatest scene ever.
Oh man. That was a Lumina and a Taurus, wasn't it?
Maybe. Yeah, it was.
I know one of them was a Lumina. The black one was a Lumina.
Yeah, because they got something appropriate for their NASCAR cars they were affiliated with. Yeah, that was such a good movie. It's such a good movie.
I don't know if it's a good movie, but there's some cool scenes in it.
It's a good movie. I know. How do you know it's a good movie? Because you cry at it during the movie.
Yeah, I cried because I watched Tom Cruise movie. He's right there with Dale Earnhardt. I'm sorry.
He was never claiming to be a race car driver that was okay.
Just celebrities I dislike. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're right. He did try to race. He tried to race with Paul Newman.
Yeah.
On his race team.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That came flooding back.
And he does his own stunts. Tom Cruise is the greatest. He can go.
I know.
He could go to blazes.
Well, that concludes our Scientology podcast. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. Anyway, so renting a supercar like the ZR1, that's a potentiality. Where do we do that? Is that $1,000 a day?
Yeah, but like those exotic car rental places, that's kind of what leads me to my first point. That there's no special license for this thing. It's a Chevy dealer. You just go, here's your $1,000 or 1,000 horsepower vehicle,
right?
And it's nuts. I mean, the other 1,000 horsepower thing was that Dodge Demon 170 was the special edition that was over 1,000 horse.
Yeah,
and they
had the stripped down version where no seat, no rear seat, and stuff like that.
It was like you bought it. And it only had the driver's seat.
For $1, you could get this, and for $1, you could get that.
Yeah, each seat put back in, which I thought it's such a fun thing.
Heck yeah.
And
it's fully optioned. I spent $30 on all the options.
I would totally buy them all, buy all those options.
Accoutrements.
Yeah, they said that it's super rare to get a sunroof in it, so they charge. Dodge is so clever because they're like, it's a race car. Why are you getting a sunroof in this thing? So they charge $10,000 for a sunroof in the Demon 170.
Nice.
All the other cars, it's probably like $300 option.
Right.
But because they're trying to discourage people from doing it.
Yeah. It's not an escape hatch. It's a death hatch.
But it's like, I think it's the idea that you go, well, now this one was the only one and plumb crazy, like 20 years from now when they're trying to sell it at Barrett Jackson.
That somebody ordered it with the $10,000 option.
The sunroof now. You're like, super rare. You're important. So it'll be like that. And I never took off the yellow protector for the chin spoiler. So
look at this sunset, not to change subjects. Good gravy. This is glorious.
Greg wipes away a single tear and walks off into the distance.
All we need is a double rainbow in the distance and life would be...
Then you hear
I could die a happy man right now.
The slow music from the ending of Incredible Hulk TV series. As it goes off into the distance.
The piano. Dun, 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 dun.
It's a beautiful sky. Anyways, listeners, we're doing a podcast. Reel it in. Reel it in, Misty.
Bring that tangent back.
But then remember when it was such a huge deal, and I would buy every car magazine when that Veyron came out, the Bugatti Veyron.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this thing has 1,001 horsepower.
Yeah, and it does 200 something miles an hour. Yeah,
like 200. Well, what at the time it was like 250 miles an hour.
Yeah, 248, 250.
And it increased after that. I was in Audi school, I think, during that. Or shortly after, maybe like a year after the Veyron came out. And so they were, part of our class was, the teacher just goes, hey, you want to talk about the Veyron? And it's like, because I got to see it, or whatever, being developed. And he's talking about how gigantic this thing is. It had 4 turbos, V16.
14 radiators.
It was a W16. So it had 4 banks of 4 cylinders each.
Stuck together, 2 blocks stuck together.
One crank with 4 turbos. And then Chevy comes out and says, yeah, sounds cute.
Yeah.
It had 4-wheel drive. It was all aluminum, carbon fiber, everything else,
Yeah.
and bespoke and perfect.
Just
and
a delicious
And then they
car.
had to get these like $15,000 or to $40,000 wheels and tires. That could
Right.
never be. You can't replace them, or you can't have anybody replace your tires except for Bugatti, and you
Right.
have to buy the entire wheel and tire mounted because it had a run flat core inside.
Yeah.
And especially made tire for the 258 mile per hour top speed.
It's not even Z rated. It's
And a separate key.
ludicrous rated.
So you had to stop on the side of the road, put the key into the door sill, and then it would lower down and put the top speed mode on your spoiler,
Right.
a low drag mode, and then you could shoot off at that
And use
speed.
4 gallons to the mile, going 250 miles an hour.
Yeah, what was it like? Your tires will run out in.
Your gas will run out.
Your tires will run out in 15 minutes, but your gas runs out in
8
in 12 or something like that. So you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said the same thing about this ZR1, the new Corvette, that it was the tank will go dry in like 9 minutes. So
At full speed. 218, 219, whatever it is.
Yeah, because did they announce the top speed yet? They're just kind of guessing, but they said it's faster than
I don't know. I thought
whatever the last ZR1 was, and that was
Maybe that's
that
what I
was like
read.
212. So
Well, it has to be faster than that, for crying out loud.
you'd think so.
I mean, if it has 400 more horsepower.
But it's still rear drive.
How much fun.
And but like also the kind of person who's attracted to this, are you gonna spend? I don't know. It would be worth $250,000, right? What do you think?
$500,000. I mean, honestly.
Really, $500,000? I'm not buying a Corvette for $500,000
Well,
unless
if you think about
Pinky's builds it, or or Kindig or somebody.
in my mind, if you can have a vehicle that can do those kind of things and it functions, not just goes that fast and stops and all that, if you can drive it around, have fun with it, then
Have you have you driven a Corvette?
nothing like this. The only thing I've driven is Stingray styles, from the 60s, 70s.
Yes, C1s or C2, C3s
Yeah.
generations. So 63 to
69,
82.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I've driven a couple of the Tombport ones.
I can't fit in the C3.
What's that? What's the yellow? I drove one of the yellow ones once when I worked at Port Boy Rods.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he used it as his daily driver. He's one of those guys that said it's the most comfortable, best driving car he ever had.
oh really?
Yeah.
I agree, dude. They're amazing, and I mean, if you got, coming back down to earth, the C4 Corvette, I think maybe say from 92 to 96.
Were they
gen?
Yeah, were they changed in?
Yeah, and they're kind of more rocket shaped, straight, more smooth sided and small. But that thing's a great deal right now. If you spent $10,000 on a C4 Corvette, you're getting a deal, man. You're getting quite a car. You're getting like 300 to 330 horse out of a 5.7
with the crossfire injection and.
Well, the later ones were a little more updated.
With the Tombport.
That's why I'm saying newer than 92.
I see.
But then you're getting quite a deal, and it's still, you can pull that Targa roof off and put it in the back, and and you got relatively inexpensive, parts for it that are available worldwide. It's a great little car, and I think it looks good. And granted, maybe it's out of style a little bit, but
I don't know.
You don't know what? Say your whispers louder.
I didn't think those were the best look. I was letting you finish your statement before I interjected. I didn't think that they were the best looking cars.
Well, not the best looking. I mean, it doesn't say Pininfarina on it. It's
right.
It's I get it. There's better looking cars out there.
I like how the new one has the split window back in like the 63 and stuff.
Yeah, the little homage. But I will say that the new Corvette is ugly as heck. I think the new mid-engine Corvette is ugly. It was designed on a computer screen and not a clay model with somebody's hands groping every curve and sinew on the thing. Okay.
I used to agree with that statement, but the more time goes by, the more they grow on me.
Well, I think it looks like it should have a Lamborghini badge on it, and the new one with the wang on the back looks like it should have
it supposedly
an STO Lamborghini badge.
It supposedly puts 1,200 pounds of downforce on the car.
Yeah.
And you can option it without it. You can get the ZR1 without the wing.
I think that there's got to be some body kit or something coming up on it that eventually that will smooth out some of the rough edges. Because I know that every single harsh angle and jagged edge on this thing is there for a purpose. And, you know, if you shaved off a winglet on a wiper blade, it would probably leave the ground and flip over 1,000 times. But there's something to be said for having a pretty car. And
there's something to be said for downforce.
Well, I think the Corvette has a gigantic range of everything because they've been around since 53. So it's like you're going from 150 horsepower, straight six, blue flame, straight six. And then you swing wide to 1,064 horsepower thing that's a missile that will defy, physics.
Right.
But also having every kind of thing like sock hop malt shop car to these monsters, that are track ready and, might as well say Pratt and Whitney down the side and have a bunch of bugs covered all over it from a Le Mans win. But yeah, it's a cool car, man.
I think that the body style and stuff, I couldn't agree more that they're trying so hard to be Lamborghini supercar style, McLaren supercar. I mean, anything like that. What's that? Zyod?
The evil cousin of Superman who came down to kill him.
Yes.
Yeah. I have that in my notes to talk about comic books.
That's today. Our Superman podcast. Anyway, I can't remember what's the other cars that are just, absurdly powerful. And I think that's what Corvette is trying to do to stay in the mix, is be more along those lines. Because if you think about it, the Corvette was always one of America's most powerful cars, and you would bring European cars to beat Corvettes. You'd take Corvettes over to Europe to beat European cars and stuff like that. So
right, you use it to shame the Porsches and the high end Mercedes.
So how do you keep up with the European tastes and the whatever the world tastes without being too American? You have to go to look supercar-ish, even if it is outlandish.
Well, their thing that when they were covered with camouflage and running through the mountains, you could actually, we're lucky enough we get drive up to the Continental Divide here.
When they do their mule cars with
if you hang up at like Independence Pass up here in Colorado,
you can see a lot of cool things.
You see a lot of cars that covered in camouflage, and then they go into production with a lot of foreign guys driving them and stuff. It's pretty fun
with big black Velcro things all over.
Right, and they're doing these testing stuff. So it's a cool hike and beautiful area. And also, if you're a car guy, then you can hang out in the parking lot and you get to see some pretty awesome stuff come by. You go, oh my gosh, that's a new.
Another one is Independence Pass when it's open.
Yeah.
Because that's a true test. If you can go up and over that altitude and run the full AC or, and come back down on the car.
Yeah, and then measure how hot your brakes are. Yeah.
Stuff like that, yeah. There's a lot of roads that they test mule cars, quote unquote, mule cars in Colorado.
Well, high altitude testing was such a cool thing. And like, I was working at the Porsche Audi dealer in Lakewood. So it was at the base of the I-70 as it starts going up the hill. So the Audi crew would show up with a ton of stainless steel suitcases, and they would fill one of the bays, and they
come in like the CIA or what?
Yeah, basically, because they said no photographs. You cannot photograph anything here. And then they'd have their neuralizers, zing. You're dead.
Yeah.
But we saw like the new A6 came out like a few years before, and the Audi Q7 before it was released, it was like a It was kind of cool, that they would bring it into the bay and then close the bay doors and stuff. And then
no cameras and stuff.
No cameras. Yeah, you're not supposed to take any photos of it. And then they'd head up the mountain up to Mount Evans, because you could still drive up to the top of that 14,000 foot mountain, but it wasn't as photographed as Pikes Peak is. And they had plenty of cars that they would just run up and down, and then they'd come back down and use our lifts and some of the computers or whatever else if it was busted. So it was pretty cool. But then, so I always loved that, and it was fun seeing like kind of the weird German guys or whatever. And I remember going to Target like after hours, picking up some grocery shopping and socks, and then seeing a bunch of German guys with these haircuts that made them look like they were Jedis, because they were like buzz cut and they had little rat tails, but they were engineers and like talking in German and stuff. And four of them, older guys, and they had a shopping cart was filled to the brim with Coca-Cola. It was hilarious. I'm like going, oh my gosh. I'm like going, that's not a communist state out in Germany, is it? I mean, you can still get this.
They came to America to get diabetes. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, give me your Coca-Cola, and where is your David Hasslehoff? It's like, okay, right this way, sir.
He's over here. Actually, he's in Mexico right now.
But yeah,
I thought he was in Germany with you guys. Where is your David Hasslehoff?
No, he could not come to Germany. We would worship him until he was dead.
I thought, okay.
Yeah, we never seen him in the flesh.
He's like Elvis.
Yeah. Dude, man.
Anyway.
David Hasselhoff's music is pretty good. Don't knock it.
I don't think he could drive a ZR1.
Excuse me? Michael Knight can't drive?
No.
Actually, that was an autonomous vehicle, right?
It was.
Never mind.
Kit made all the cool stuff happen.
You're right.
Come on, dude.
Kit would drive more.
Kit drove him crazy.
Yeah. That was weird, too, that it was a Trans Am that would fight crime with him, a talking Trans Am, and not a Corvette, Well, maybe it was too expensive to replace or something.
And it wasn't very reliable either, so.
What?
It had the same motor, though, didn't it?
So, yeah, or a bit, yeah.
Same drivetrain.
Close enough, yeah.
Well, it had to.
They shared plenty of things.
It had to, because it was a Trans Am that Kit had. Come on.
I don't know. Look up Consumer Reports and put Knight Industries 2000 and see what the rating is.
Your memory's awesome, Knight Industries.
Memory, 2000. Dude. I have the box set. I'll show you. But that
I have it memorized. What are you talking about? Every episode.
Hey guys, tune into my David Hasslehoff podcast. It's a solo podcast, obviously.
What do you want to know about season 4, episode 7?
Exactly. And I don't know, women aren't allowed to listen to it, but I haven't heard of any feedback. Corvettes. My dad had a 70 Corvette. Okay. We're bringing it down a notch, okay?
Listen, shoot.
A little heart to heart, okay?
Oh, here we go.
Here's some root evidence of why I am the way I am, okay?
Oh, here we go. This is what I want to hear right here. Okay.
This is hardcore, okay? Everybody pull up a little bit closer to your iPhones.
We're going to get a core belief established right here. Core belief established.
When my dad married my mother, he had, up until that point, a 1970 Corvette.
Okay.
He was an enthusiast. He bought it. It was red. He sold his portion of this very El Camino we're leaning on.
Okay.
To my grandpa, and then took that money and put it into the Corvette.
Did he buy it new from the dealer?
I don't think it was brand new. It was really it was
relatively new.
Yeah, it was relatively new.
Okay.
And this was late 70s, and he then drove the Corvette around. It was bright red, and then he had it painted white because it was cooler. At the time, I guess he didn't want to be like the other guys with the red ones. And real flashy car. Pretty awesome.
A white Corvette flashy car.
And then he ended up selling it.
Oh, goodness.
My mom never rode in it, but he sold it so that he could have enough money and stuff to marry mom. Start the house, get a head start.
Yeah.
Start a family.
Smart man.
Sold the Corvette. With that money, you had to get a little starter car.
Which was a
Subaru.
Which failed him.
Failed all the time. Broke down. Blew head gaskets.
He's so mad.
And they showed up at at a grocery store once, and Mom had never been in the Corvette. They showed up at a grocery store parking lot, and Dad goes, "Hey, that's my Corvette. That's the Corvette I had." And Mom slapped him and goes hard into the shoulder,
right.
Going like, "We could have been driving this
instead of this piece of junk."
It's like, come on,
Yes, but honey, we needed a future.
And she never rode in the Corvette, but so there's always a little bit of in my blood before I was born, even of animosity towards the Subaru Corporation, towards Fuji Heavy Industries.
It was bred into you. I got it.
Which is also why I'm a pain in the neck to all my Subaru loving friends.
Right.
But I think
it's because how you're raised. It's nurture.
It's not, but
it's nurture versus nature.
It's both. It's both now.
Oh, it is actually nature and nurture.
Yeah.
Because it was in your father's DNA when he created you.
Done. There you go.
Oh, and actually Mom, too. They were both bitter about it.
There's a root cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what it's spinning out on.
My curiosity now goes to, why isn't there a Corvette here now?
One day, dude. But also, I do have some Chevy madness going on.
Well, yeah, there's several Chevys
there's
here.
There's El Camino here. There's a 54 Chevy in the garage. There's a 68 Camaro 327 on a stand in front of it. And a couple 350s lying around, whatever. I don't know. That's everybody's truck. And a partridge in a pear tree. But not a single transmission in the garage at all. So I've sold them all, but all those 350s.
So let's do a VIN search and find Dad's Corvette for him.
Dude, that'd be cool. Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome seeing where it is now?
Yeah. See if it's purchasable, if it's still roadworthy.
Yeah. It's definitely like... I think it was white with a tan interior, but yeah, pretty cool car. Probably 350 in that one.
Put it back to the red.
I can't fit in those things, man. They're
Neither
too small.
can I.
Not the
Actually, I probably could, but
you probably could.
I don't like them.
No?
I don't like sitting in front of the rear axle, watching the front end turn in front of me, and they're weird.
Okay, they're weird. Need a little bit more balance. You're more into this mid-engine thing.
Yeah. Let's do a mid-engine El Camino.
El Camino?
Yeah.
Hot Wheels makes them. All the Hot Wheels El Caminos. Man, after they have a big V8 with a blower hanging out over the roof.
After doing all this research and I saw that same picture of the motor sitting on the stand, and the imagination goes to, what could you put that ZR1 1064 horsepower in? And I would want the whole drivetrain. I want the transaxle and everything, so I could mid-engine something. Because
that was always the thing, right? It was like the Corvette is the ultimate for the Chevy guy,
right? Because
there's nothing higher than the Corvette.
You get the Camaro to try and beat and have fun with the Corvette.
Yeah, it was like, there was always like, oh, I got kids, I got, I need a little more space. Camaro. You're done. You're fine. Camaros are awesome.
Cool.
And there's so much you can do with them. So it's like, I think that the Corvette, I don't know if the stigma of, the knee-high white socks and the Hawaiian shirts with the
midlife crisis.
Yeah, and you carry the folding lawn chair in the hatch, so that you can stop at every gas station and regale everybody with
your Corvette hat,
with what Z's 51 packages or whatever that you have.
Your Z71 package.
Hey, stop walking away. I have 20 more option codes to list out for you.
This. It's the LT1 with the Z06.
Yeah, 4 more option codes and you'll be impressed. Come back here, man. Come on.
You won't understand a word I'm saying.
This doesn't have the radio. I got the radio later because I optioned it out without a radio. Exactly. It's lighter that way. But
I take the radio out when I go racing.
Yeah, exactly. This was a non-AC car, but I had it optioned back in. That makes it rarer.
Yeah. I paid the extra $5,000 to put it on.
But I think that guy is. I think that's kind of over now. I think those guys are probably in their 90s, and it's a little more calming down.
Yeah.
That you see a little bit more of the guys who were Supra guys, I think, who it's like now they wanted to get a Mark IV Supra, but they couldn't afford one now because they got priced out of the Fast and Furious market.
So they'll step into the Corvette
So they step into the Corvette because you go, I can build 1,000 horsepower out of this thing for cheaper than I could a Supra.
Right.
And it's like, and I'm getting a C5, C6 for, in the 20s, and amazing car. You get a C5 with the base engine, the 350 horse for probably in the 15 grand. You got a pretty decent one.
Right.
And,
but now for whatever, we'll say 350,000 is the price for 1,064 horsepower, and then you could upgrade it from there, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Could you put bigger turbos on that? Could you put
on the new Corvette?
Yeah.
The new ZR1?
Could you
modifying that already when you already have more than a
that's the first thing people are going to want to do.
Maybe, dude. I know I already talked about putting a body kit on it, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, that makes me think of Alex Contreras, who wide bodies all of his Corvettes. He pulls the motor, does bigger things to it, even though it's the top of the line Corvette for that year, that model, everything like that. So
yeah, and Amelia Hartford and her twin turbo Corvettes. She has a twin turbo Z06 also.
So the first thing these guys are going to do is, can we put bigger turbos on it? Can we get more boost to it?
Yeah.
And everything like that. And that's where you get to the point of it's going to get so powerful that the tires can't hold it, that you're at your limit of what you can actually put to the ground, et cetera.
Yeah, because they were talking about on the releases and stuff, and some of these YouTube guys were talking about how this new ZR1 has a softer suspension than the Z06, the lesser car.
Well, that's because when it gets up to those higher speeds, it needs to squat to the ground so it can stay on the ground instead of taking off like you were referring earlier.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. They said it's more of a sane suspension, but it's and it has 5 different traction control modes, and
goodness,
but you could still turn it all the way off
and just sideways on command it.
But I mean, okay, last episode we were at the Electrify America show.
Yeah.
And it's all electric, and all these cars have autonomous driving.
Yeah.
And all these people are walking around like it's going to be the end of the automobile. They're kind of they're speaking like, we will be autonomous.
Oh yeah.
You will not own anything.
Yeah.
You will be picked up on your car, and it will convey you to taxation.
And you just pay monthly on your transportation, like you do your electric bill and your water bill.
Right.
Yeah.
And it will just bleed you and take all your enthusiasm out. No accoutrements.
Well played, sir. Well played.
And then Chevy
comes out
goes
and says
bananas and says, "Hey, you guys like bananas?
Right?
I got bananas. I got bushels and bundles.
Yeah.
Here,
well, and Ford's saying
get your wheelbarrow.
Ford's saying we're Mustanging it with a V8 still. So.
Well, yeah, and then Ford, same thing. Like, I'm like going, is the electric car taking over, or was this a rebellion like crazy up against it?
Well,
do not go quietly into the night.
Dodge says we're going to give you an inline 6 that's turboed, and everything else is electric.
They walked back because they announced it was going to be only electric, and the V8's gone or whatever.
Yeah, no V8.
And then they say, well, we can fit the Hurricane twin turbo 6 in there.
Well, they announced it at the same time as the electric no V8s.
No,
anymore.
it was like almost a year after they announced the electric one.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I saw the debut of it all together, so that's how I know it.
We'll solve this in an arm wrestling contest. The vet.
I don't know why you'd be so violent.
Because it's the only way to get the truth out. But the vet will come with 1,000 horsepower with no hybridization.
Right.
No
but they
autonomous.
Have a hybrid Corvette talking.
Yeah, you can get an E-Ray. Yeah, for sure. Which that'll probably be. That's a hint that it might happen with another special edition.
Right.
Because they kept saying this car called the Zora, after Zora Arkus Duntov.
So isn't this what, like the Cadillac that
Oh, the Cadillac Le Mans hypercar.
So
oh my gosh.
Is that what they're going to do to the Corvette? Is that what the basis of?
Maybe that would be.
Wouldn't that be delicious?
That would be amazing. But so it might have this engine with electric front drive. So then it would be all-wheel drive and banana.
God, dude. Then it could go 300 miles an hour potentially.
Electrified bananas. Yeah.
Oh.
But right now, I mean,
that's a different podcast.
It's a little bit more of a golden era. We kept hearing these things. I remember hearing from Top Gear like 10 years ago, this is the last great car. And he was driving some Aston Martin Vantage off into the fog and wistfully saying how this might be the end of the era. We're done with the internal combustion engine. And then a decade later, we're still cranking out huge, massive, monstrous things
and still being delighted in new ways by a V8.
Yeah, and you can turn off the traction control completely.
Sideways on command.
Absolutely. How wonderful is that?
How BANANAS.
Bananas. Yeah, and then Dodge. I know they stopped that, but
they're not bananas.
Ford just announced a few months ago the Mustang GTD,
right,
which is rear transaxle like the Corvette, 800 something horsepower, and supercharged 5.4 liter,
and their GTs are all V8s and stuff still. So
yeah,
they're not getting rid of the V8s, as you should not get rid of the V8s, because you can make an LS get 40 miles to the gallon if you really want to.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
40 miles to the gallon and 400 horsepower. Come on.
40 miles a gallon.
If you do it right.
I've heard that the new standard Corvette does get in the 30s.
We had a guy, his name Nick, I believe, bought the used Earth Roamer shop truck. I think it was a 07, 010, whatever, Silverado.
And he got 45 miles per gallon.
Well, he had to redo the motor, of course.
Oh, really? Okay.
The lifters and everything, the common problems.
Did he really get that much? I was just joking.
He was saying on his drive to Florida, he was just being chill.
Yeah.
Keeping it regular RPMs, not going that fast and stuff. He was getting almost 40 miles to the gallon now.
In a big old truck.
And just a regular extra cab 1500.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So if you really want efficiency, you can get it with the V8s, is my point.
But I love that you could do that literal smart car, that little tiny thing, it gets like 35 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
And imagine getting the same gas mileage out of
your pickup,
out of a Corvette that has 400 horse.
Oh my God! Dude.
If you could discipline it or put a wooden block underneath the throttle.
Just discipline that ankle, right?
You could get like a little wedge that you paint green, for eco mode. What's that?
Tape your ankle so you can't.
Yeah. It has a little eco mode, written in Sharpie underneath on the side of that wood block, and you just slide it underneath your pedal. Man, check your floor mats, because maybe your car could go faster, because I've had a few customers over the years who've gotten floor mats, aftermarket floor mats stuck on their pedals and stuff and driven a little bit slower. And like, this really has a lot more horsepower after you guys did an oil change. Yeah.
After a nice detail, this thing really runs well.
After we screwed your floor mats to the ground. Yeah. Holy cow. I think that's...
Last question and we'll end it.
Okay. Hit it.
What color is your ZR1 going to be?
Oh, man. I think I would do black. I would just go as black as I could.
Black on black.
Yeah, with those
just
carbon wheels, because it's not pretty. I would hide some of the angles and some of the scoops.
Flat black even?
No, I'd still do some gloss, but I would do black with the black carbon wheels, and then the most garish, brightest orange or red interior that I could get.
Yeah, they have that super cool red interior option.
Yeah, so that you open the door and you go, geez. It's like blood red guts inside, yeah.
Who died in here?
And you just get all squishy and hop in, yeah. What about you, huh?
I don't know. I was thinking, excuse me, I was thinking of dark blue.
Yeah, because they have this blue that's kind of to match the engine block.
Yeah, whatever that was.
The
Evil blue.
ZR1 blue.
Yeah.
Devil blue, whatever.
Devil blue, yeah.
Blue devil.
So.
Yeah, it's intense, man. I love it. We're in a good spot. I think that I'm excited to see something so wild.
And I'm excited to see what people do with it.
A major manufacturer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be shitstorm out of the box, and then people are going to take it and just make it rain.
As far as modifications go.
That was a horrible metaphor. I'm so sorry.
No, it's cliche for a reason. Everybody says that.
Yeah, but a shitstorm's usually bad. That was such a horrible...
everybody duck, and thank you so much for listening.
Keep subscribing and passing along to friends.
Yeah, subscribe and pass along to friends, and also text us. You can text us right through the description on these episodes.
Ask us questions,
and you can ask us questions, or you can
tell us how bad we are.
Yeah, tell a story or whatever.
Yeah, tell us your stories. That'd be cool too.
Because we'd love to have you on the show, especially if you got a fun idea that we need to explore with you. So thanks so much for listening to another fun and exciting and informative.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Mechanical Sympathy Podcast. Have a wonderful day, guys.